light bodies. Let's talk about it. So, very interesting enough, they told us a series of confusing things that would throw us off and make us confused. They say, "Oh, your real body's in the center of the earth," and that's what Westworld told us too. You get through this maze, Cynthia, whoever it is that was in the movie with that doctor with the bald spot, and he goes, "If you make it to the center of this flat circle here, yeah, you'll be free." And they show there's like a real body there waiting, but it's really your light body. All right, so inconceivable enough. I was sun gazing yesterday. Sun is much larger here, which I love. I go up further north, the sun gets larger. It's my perception. It is the perception, and it is the signal. Because normally the sun should appear small to everybody, but I have a large sun. It's very interesting and unique. It's very, you can see right there. And when I look up, he's just as big as that. It's massive. My tree friends here. Hey. These guys are awesome, and I love the trees. So anyways, light bodies, let's talk about it. So like on Cool World, they showed you some people walking and then some turkeys jumped on top of them. They were like, oh, 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 oh. So in theory, this is the barrier here. These are the barrier mountains, and then the barrier is from Hart right over there on the other side of these mountains. There are tons of flying machines that fly around. Apparently, if we don't have the perception to have access to them, it's almost the same as the light body. You can't see it. But a lot of people have been able to see these flying machines. They look silver in the sky, like a silver flake. I think I've seen that a couple of times, but I didn't realize what I was seeing. And someone else told me that they were summoning these UFOs. And when I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's kind of familiar. So I think we all kind of have the ability to do that. And just the same, you want to have a high signal so it gets as high beyond this barrier here, and your light bodies are just swimming in here like this, and one of them belongs to you. And what they've done is they've demonized a lot of the most problematic light bodies with cartoons and fanatical campaigns and movies, all kinds of stuff that makes it look like a bunch of nonsense. But everything that we imagine is actually us peering into the fourth dimensional cool world, and everything that we've already perceived in our whole life has already been laid out for us, and we follow our free will, with this being knowing the whole future of what we're going to do anyway, so they don't have to manipulate us. They just white, and we either go with the flow and things are good because life was meant to be good anyways, or we try to fight her, and she kung fu's us with our own energy and gives us enough rope. Like when they cut this tree down, she just comes out and it's like, oh, you're dancing too, huh? So these people were just like so pissed about everything that she does is like magic and it flourishes and it's nothing. She doesn't have to worry about anything because she knows her whole existence. And she's like, look, you're gonna hang yourself, but you're not gonna be able to leave here. So this is the hub of this is the Fantasia Never Ending Story. This is the place where all the entities that meet beyond the nine wonders, and down below where the Black Sun Kingdom is, they all meet here and talk about this place here, saying that something needs to be done about it and shit like that. That's what you've seen on Never Ending Story. And she's there too with, and they show her in different forms. One as a kid and stuff like that. This being probably grows up with each of us, invisible, probably as a kid, and grows up with us. And then when you grow up, this being would probably nurture you the same way as they would like a love interest or someone who is more intelligent that needs to teach you. So it's like all kinds of different roles is being placed. Watch Role Models, a movie with the guy that plays Ant-Man. And those kids, she's the silver-haired lady on Sturdy Wings. So they're always telling her, they always try to talk about how she was like on cocaine or something like that. And she's supposed to be crazy, but she does everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all this stuff. And so, sorry to ramble on so much, but the light bodies, let's talk about that. These light bodies, and they're here. So as soon as your signal is back here and gets high enough, like, it like recognizes it and it goes, and then you're like becoming more like what you're meant to be. So here, these people are just flying around, inventions, all kinds of stuff. Just here in this area, they leave and they go into 9 other worlds where they're just literally experiencing this out there, 9 other places. But depending on what species mingles with them, it's just extraordinary. Something that is yet to be seen and lived. Then you're living. You live forever in 9 wonders. You're really living. You're really living. You meant to live forever. Wow. So these light bodies. Right now, Mr. Cheeks is since yesterday. It's really interesting, and I have to say this because he puts 2 mouse ears on top of his son, and he's like, "Are you ready, dude? I got this really nasty crack. It was so bad. It was along the back side of my head where that fault was. It went all the way into the nub. It was like pow, and man, that shit was so jarring. It still hurts. Like I have this head aching from the backside of my head, and I'm trying to create faults other places so I can just kind of make it shatter, because you know what I mean? I just wanted to just get that shit out, because it's like when it peels or breaks, it's just still stuck on there, and it's like, oh, like super intense, but kind of like you're still here. So it's really evasive. You kind of want to rip it off like a Band-Aid, like just make it just all just go away at once and just go through it. Because that just very much so could have been my whole face. And I could have just been, oh, and it would have just been over. See what I'm saying? And now I still got to go through the rest. So it's, but what's happening is these entities that they're showing us on these movies, they're just threats to this whole shit that's going on out here. So whenever they can see them or perceive them or monitor them or watch their activities, then they'll show you them. So if you think about all the cartoons that you've ever seen, like Who's a Threat, like a Superman, everything that you've ever seen that is like a smart ass that is always victorious somehow, anything, any kind of cartoon where it's always been some entity and who's a hero or who has magic or anything like that. And I feel like they show us these entities specifically because who knows, it could be very well possible that in this generation or any generation that those entities might be the ones that rise up. And it's that's what I'm saying. This is very interesting because it ain't just me. It's a bunch of people that don't like what's going on in here. And what I also do know is that a lot of the celebrities, they're programmed to receive, like Hotel California tells you, and they run for the door. Sometimes they scream and they don't want to do this, and they're programmed to do it, and they suffer, and they cry, and a lot of them want to kill themselves and shit like that. I hear, and it's bad, man. This dude, this Gadriel dude is just bad, man. He's just a bad dude, man. So at the end of the day, you just got to know who you're with. Because when you get with someone who's impossible like this, that just does whatever they want and have stuff flowing with honey and stuff like that and just whatever they want, then your life is going to become like that. And it doesn't take much. Oh, another thing, light bodies. Oh my gosh, I got to talk about this. The artwork that's in there is becoming perceptively magical. Now, remember, let's use this pole because the guy on Cool World ran up against the pole. His whole area turned into a light body. So his vehicle became a light body. He became one. His nearest circumference, omnipresently, maybe his halo has an embodiment of appearing into the 4th dimension within the embodiment of the dude that has the light body, perhaps. So it's very interesting. Like, this is so many ways to look at it. But what I'm starting to notice that the closer I get into breaking this open, I'm looking at everything, and even those little Garbage Pail Kid figures, their eyes are moving. It's tripping me the fuck out. And I remember NLE Chopper and fucking who's that girl? Tierra Whack. All of them tell you that in this Cool World perceptive place between the two extremes, like Hall Notes talks about, it's a 3.5 dimensional space where everything is like Cool World, but you're still here. And you have a certain amount of, like the cone of the witch, you have a certain amount of signal that gives you the superhuman abilities of electromagnetics that exist beyond the grid. So this should make perfect, concise sense. So we have to pull our mojo, our signal up high enough to get the magic here that is being blocked beyond the HARP barrier, which is nothing more than plastic. If you don't believe me, watch people burn snow. If snow comes around, get a torch, see if you can melt it with a torch. You will see it burns black. It is nothing more than plastic. The only being that gets rid of the snow is the sun, which tells you that you should be sun gazing. Because whatever is in that plastic snow, you don't want to consume it. That's for sure. If it's not real water and snow, you don't want to, it's really bad. This place is really fucked up. But anyways, to say the least, the light bodies. He put Mickey Mouse ears on there, and it's just, they're constantly making me like, wow, you gotta be kidding. But now I'm starting to see the plausibility and the inconceivableness of it. She just does whatever she wants. She's impossible like that. But it has a plausible conceivableness to it. And I'm starting to like, whoa, you still gotta be kidding me though, right? These entities, they exist there. They don't have a name. They give it a name. Who knows? I mean, you could be anything. Jack Deeps was some weird hobo guy with patches all over his body. Just some weird patch character that had patches all over his car. Some patch dude existence patching his life. I don't know. It's just really strange. But to say the least, I was a little nervous to think that an entity like this would come out of my head and land on top of me. And I might go unconscious for a moment, wake up with a belly full of cheese. You know what I'm saying? I don't want this entity to take over my life. That's all. I don't want it to be weird where this entity makes me do things that I wouldn't normally do. You know what I mean? Like you can't go poop, you know what I'm saying? Because he's like, oh, I'll give you some cheese. Isn't that what you like? He's just like, no, I can't take a, you know what I'm saying? So it's that whole that fear factor that comes into place when it's something new like that comes in. You gotta take it in stride and wrap your mind around it. And she's kind of helping me do that, and he's helping me do that. So it's a good thing. Whatever we are, our whole body that's here at the center of the earth, we got to get to it. And that is what the Goku is. It's like an embodiment over the whole entity, and all together you become like a super hybrid of some kind. Because these other chakras, they created a life for themselves in, I guess, 2 different dimensions. In the 3rd dimension, you see this, but then in the 4th dimension, it turns into like twisted. It's like, oh man, I have so many questions for her, man. I have so many questions, but it's to be expected. I'm gonna continue sun gazing again and try to tear up on the rest of this pineal gland and see whatever happens with the rest of this light body situation. And as inconceivable and unbelievable as it sounds, I may be walking around with a giant light body on myself like Jack Deebs, and we're gonna see who it is, and we're gonna see what this light body is. I'm gonna film it, and it's gonna show up on the camera, and you're gonna be like, what the hell? And I wanna show you these Garbage Pail Kids too, man, because I swear, I get close to it, his eyes go back to normal. When you step back, the light body forms on it. And it reminds me of the trees, because these electrical signatures that are dancing across their contours, like that big nose there in the eyes, and he's kind of looking up this way. And there's a contour that's dancing over this, and his cheekbone is going up like that. And his hair is doing this with the 2 ears coming out the sides. And the contour tells me what he's doing at the moment. And then there's one coming this way, and he's more coming and expressing himself. Those electrical signatures are the same as me raising my signal and converting this 3rd dimensional space into the 4th dimensional cool world. So my surroundings is becoming that. This bus is getting ready to turn into a magic bus. You're getting ready to see, I'm telling you, I was daydreaming about the shit, and this motherfucker is gonna be like fucking Back to the Future with hovercraft conversions and manifestations of 1800s clothing if we want, and this thing's gonna transform into some badass hover converted shit, and the inside is gonna be huge and the outside is gonna be small like this, and it's gonna be a whole gateway and parallel open doors into cool world, and people are gonna have the time of their life in this bus. And that's what I can see, and it's gonna be unbelievable. and the light body is going to make this entire circumference, anything that's near it, magic. And that's exactly what happens in Weird Science. That's exactly what happens to Jack Deeves in Cool World. That's exactly what happens when Jim Carrey in Mask, when he gets the green and he gets all of his chakras. His wolf comes out. His character that's on top of him is a wacky, like, cartoon type dude. They tell you it's full of energy and light, and that's what it is. They're just light bodies. They're not cartoons. They're just light bodies. So hopefully this research that I've been doing and the sun gazing and this understanding and this accumulation of information was found good for you, so you can understand what we're aiming for. We just want our bodies back. That's it. We just want our bodies back so we can't be harmed. On Cool World, they made it look dangerous and harmful, and you don't want that weird thing on top of you, but it's who you were. It left and it made its own life, and it manifested itself into whatever it thought it wanted to be, whatever kind of spirit animal or whatever it wanted to be. And it's time for you to have it back, because you will be special. And until then, this is Grim Nasty over and out. And as always, when we get awake, we stay awake. Wow, the sun is freaking huge.